Welcome. Thank you guys all for coming. My name is Ashley Andrews, and I'm part of the group Upper Valley Young Liberals that is hosting this. So I just wanted to say a little bit what Upper Valley Young Liberals is in case some of you here don't know. We are a group founded about 4 months ago by Nick Clark and a bunch of ex-Bernie Sanders campaigners and people working in the West Lebanon office for Bernie, like Allie Hannigan, our vice chair, who's now working for Matt Dunn. And the mission of our organization is to foster and encourage cultural and political participation from young people. Our group is not exclusive to young people, but we do try to push people under 35 to hold executive positions, try to get them into leadership roles that they might not otherwise be able to experience. And we've done a lot in the past 4 months. We've had people elected as national delegates, including myself. We have people running for office. We have people getting involved on the municipal level. So it's been really successful, and part of our model is that we have committees that branch off, and each committee, anything can be made into a committee if there's a member who has the desire or passion about a specific topic to do it. And Olivia Lapierre over here is extremely passionate about the environment and sustainability, and she came to us and started coming to meetings and said she was interested in doing a sustainability committee, which she has headed. And today, this is the committee's first event. Now we had some other people on the list that aren't here yet, but we're just gonna move forward with our next speaker, who is Olivia Lapierre, the organizer of this event and the chair of the sustainability committee in Upper Valley Young Liberals. And she's gonna talk about zero waste lifestyle, which she herself lives every day and has been an inspiration to many of us to reconsider our role in materialism. Olivia.
Hello, I'm Olivia Lapierre, and I live a zero waste lifestyle. I have 2 different definitions for zero waste lifestyle. My first definition is a lifestyle where I produce minimal to zero waste. My second definition is a little more personal. It means that I live a lifestyle where I'm applying my values that I believe in to my everyday lifestyle. For as long as I can remember, I have always felt a responsibility to have a positive impact on the environment. In December 2015, I discovered blogger Lauren Singer, who shared her story of a zero waste lifestyle on her blog, Trash is for Tossers. I thought this was the most amazing blog and that she was like the most amazing person. She was able to fit 3 years worth of trash in a 12-ounce mason jar. At first, I didn't believe it, and I questioned whether this was real and if she was lying or what she was like, why she did this. And then through a lot of investigating, I found out that she was legitimate, and I discovered different things that she did in order to lead this lifestyle. Discovering Lauren was life-changing because she taught me that you shouldn't just advocate and talk about environmental changes, but you should also apply your values. This was really relevant to me because I was always chanting to people different in climate change statistics and telling them all of the unsustainable practices they were doing, and saying phrases such as you should stop using plastic and stop using other disposables. And then finding Lauren, I was able to really step back and look at my own life. And what I discovered was that I was leading a life that was unsustainable. I looked in my room and I had all these plastic items in my room. In my bathroom, I had all these disposable items such as toothpaste, deodorant, and my fridge was even worse. So as you can imagine, discovering I was a hypocrite was not something that I took very lightly. And after taking time to really reevaluate my life and come to terms with this new information, I decided that I needed change and I needed it now. This hunger to do more and to be a better person was the only tool I needed in order to start my new lifestyle. I started my journey first by looking through my trash so I could really understand what I was throwing away. So I went through my trash, literally went through it, and I divided what could be composted, what could be recycled, and what could be avoided. And what I discovered was that my biggest contributor to my trash was my food waste. This discovery inspired my first transition, which was how to handle my food waste. I knew I had 3 options. My first could be that I would compost my food waste. Another option I had would be to buy my food in bulk using my reusable containers and bags. And a third would be to refrain from foods that would hinder my ability to do the first 2 options. So when I had my first zero waste grocery shopping trip, I was very nervous and it took hours for me to prep. I didn't know what I had in store for me, myself. I didn't know what would be available in bulk and how I would overcome certain obstacles that may come my way. What I discovered was that it was really fun and really easy. And on top of that, there was a ton of bulk options. When I went, I was scared that I wouldn't be able to eat like I used to, and I'd starve, and I wouldn't like it, and it would be really expensive. But it turned out to be really cheap because not only did I get discounts on bringing my own containers and bags, but I also the prices for my bulk items were cheaper because I wasn't buying the packaging. 15 to 20% of the things that we buy, we're buying the packaging and not even the food. So for example, my oatmeal, which I used to buy in organic packet, it was organic oatmeal that I'd buy in packaging, would cost about $6 at the regular grocery store. The new organic oatmeal that I was buying in bulk was $2, and I'd have a mason jar about this big. Huge difference. And on the plus, my food looked a lot more beautiful in its containers, and it also just cleaned my diet. After I had felt comfortable with food shopping, I decided that my next step would be to learn how to make my own products. My bathroom products were the second largest contributor to my waste. This required a lot of research and experimenting, which I didn't mind, but I really wanted to find products that would be best for myself. I started out with simple products such as toothpaste, which was only coconut oil, baking soda, and essential oil. At first, it was really gross because I was so used to conventional toothpaste, but I tried to stay open-minded and it became a lot easier to brush my teeth with. Then I advanced to more complex products like cleaning products and my own deodorant and lotion. And that was a lot easier than I expected. It was a lot of fun because I was able to really be the controller of what was going into my products, which was something that scared me to death when I was buying conventional packaged products. I didn't know what half the ingredients meant, and if I looked them up on Google, I still didn't understand what they meant. And I also didn't know how true they were to being organic or if they were unsafe. I learned that a lot of the cleaning businesses don't have to have everything that was that's in the products on the label, which really scared me. But it was a lot of fun and it was really, really cheap. And also it made me feel like I held the power as a consumer. Another huge transition I made was becoming a minimalist. Although becoming a minimalist is not a prerequisite to living zero waste, it definitely helped me significantly. I used to follow the motto, out with the old and in with the new. I was constantly buying new products, even if my old products were in still good use. And I also was giving sentimental attachments to all of my other stuff. So on one side I was a huge hoarder, but also wanting all these brand new stuff. But with Zero Waste Lifestyle, I was able to simplify my life. And I decided that I needed to only bring in products that wouldn't create a lot of waste. So I went through my stuff and I put everything that I loved and knew I needed into 2 suitcases and gave away the rest of my stuff to friends and thrift stores. Fortunately, through this lifestyle, I've become very aware of how I treat my stuff. And because I don't have a lot of stuff, I really like to treat my stuff that I do have good. And also, I'm always constantly trying to repair old shoes and clothing, and that's where upcycling comes in. Along the way, I made a lot of smaller transitions too. These transitions included using reusable bags, creating a to-go bag, buying secondhand, using reusable razors, and many more. My to-go bag has been one of the most helpful tools I've used along my zero waste journey. In it, I have my reusable utensils, my container, and a reusable straw, and a cup for water, whatever drink, and a canvas bag. And I bring around my canvas bag just in case I want to go shopping for food and whatnot, and I'll have that bag to store my stuff. I always keep this bag with me. It's super light, and I bring it everywhere I go. And it's mostly useful for like when I go out to eat with my friends and they don't have reusable containers. For example, I like to go to Bologna with my friends, and they're totally okay with me bringing my own container. And I've discovered a lot of places, not only in the Upper Valley, but across country, are super open about allowing people to bring their own stuff. And it's sparked up a lot of really cool conversations. Aside from making me a happier person because I am proactive in my values, my zero waste lifestyle has helped me become more assertive. Before, if you had asked me if I would ask a waiter to put my food in my container, I would say, no, that's obnoxious. But now I would laugh and tell you the importance of self-advocating for your beliefs. My assertiveness has led to many discussions with strangers about zero waste lifestyle and how we can all make small, long-lasting impacts. Through this talk, I hope I can inspire people to make positive impacts on our planet. Thank you. Any questions? Yes?
So I don't know, maybe you said this, but so how long have you been doing this, and how much trash have you produced?
So I discovered Lauren Singer's blog in December 2015, and I decided that I needed at least 1 month to really plan for this and have like last minute hurrahs. And so my boyfriend and I had like nachos by last night of not being zero waste, and we celebrated. And then the next day I started my transition. And so since January, this is the amount of trash I have produced. Aside from a couple of bigger items like destroyed tires that I obviously can't fit in there. Yeah. And so the reason why I keep a jar is just because it's a peace of mind that I'm not bringing anything to a landfill. I'm not like trying to hoard all my trash for the rest of my life. But, and it also encourages me every day to see how far I've come and how far I have left to go. Yes?
I buy things in plastic containers such as yogurt. When I finish it, it goes in the recycling bin. And is recycling much lower on your totem pole than just not buying it and why?
No, so I barely recycle. Did everyone hear his question?
Yes.
Yeah, so I barely recycle. I mostly compost. And the reason why I barely recycle is, one, because I just don't have enough things to recycle. So I completely avoid that. And another reason is because I just feel like that recycling takes up a lot of energy. And when I have to recycle, like I said, a cardboard or whatever, I'm really having to trust those recycling companies that they will actually recycle those. Where with composting, I hold the power and I decide where my waste is going. Simon?
Does that mean you would compost paper products in your compost?
Yep. So, like for example, a couple months ago, my boyfriend and I got pizza, and I recycled the big box, but the smaller cardboard and the big and the smaller inside, I compost that. So, yeah.
It's more of a question, but I was actually just reading, I don't know if you ever read the book Stiff. It's about human waste, like literally what happens to us after we're gone. And as someone that supports such a zero waste lifestyle, I don't know if you've done a lot of research about human composting, but I was just curious as to outside of food and products and the things that we see on our day-to-day life, on the overall scale of human impact, what's your stance on zero waste after we're gone? Would be my question.
Yeah, that's a good question. I haven't done a lot of research on human waste. I know a woman named Kat Buxton focuses on that area, and I'm really interested in connecting with her and learning more about that. Yeah. Yeah.
Sort of a follow-up, human waste could also mean our, after we eat and digest our food, how do you feel about sewage? And what do you do with your compost?
Yeah, so Kat Buxton, yeah, she does directly with like human waste, and I'm really interested in learning how I can compost that. Currently, I'm a college student, so it's not really, and I live at home, so I can't, but yeah. I compost, so I started composting at my college, and I connected with the science professors and made it a ongoing science project. So I bring my compost to school, and they use it for their class. And that's up north. But when I'm here, I compost at my home with my family, and we have like a hole dug up in the yard where we put compost, and we also have chickens. So those are two different ways I compost. Also, reaching out to local farmers is a huge way. There's a lot of businesses that people might not have heard of that take people's compost. So there's a lot of options. Yeah.
Have you taken a look at all at the waste stream that's being generated by the suppliers from whom you get products?
So like from the bulk product suppliers?
For example, I mean, yeah, for example, there might be a 5-gallon bucket that gets used, or yeah, that sort of thing.
And how they're doing what?
How much of the waste stream is being contributed to by the suppliers? For example, if I buy an herb from someone who grows it, there really is no waste. If I buy it from someone, from say the co-op in bulk, I'm not contributing anything directly to the waste stream, but perhaps there is some contribution to the waste stream upstream from me. Is my question making any sense?
Yeah, so like the path of like the waste, even if
Yeah.
you're buying in bulk.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was something I thought about a lot when I first started was, well, even if I am buying in bulk, there's some waste being produced because I can't buy my nuts locally and they're being traveled here. And so at first when I spent a lot of time thinking about that, becoming really discouraged. And then I tried to really look at a different lens and see that I'm actually, I'm reducing a step by not buying those smaller packaging. And I focus more on not just not having waste, but the intentions of minimalizing my waste.
Thanks.
Yeah, Charlotte?
But just to add to that, some of the suppliers are dealing with that, will take containers back. I know McNamara Dairy, you can return milk bottles.
Yeah.
Deposit in the wash mat, so who does that kind of stuff?
Who what?
I suppose people interested that could look into which suppliers do that kind of work to minimize on their end.
Yeah, and like I know the co-op I work at, they recycle all of the packaging that the bulk items come from, which is really awesome. So yeah, and there's like a lot of things. There are things that I use that I can't buy in bulk, like coconut oil, which is in a lot of my bathroom products. But I just reuse the containers, or I bring them. They're in the. I don't know if anyone's familiar with the Upper Valley Co-op, but they do have a bin where you can bring your old containers, and then other people can get them. So kind of like bring it around. Yeah.
I haven't seen this yet because I haven't really learned all of the different markets and stores, but I know in Seattle where I'm from, it was often there.
Oh, I was just there.
Yeah, there'd be a bulk section, say in a Whole Foods, or at other smaller grocery stores, there'd be a bulk section for oils. There'd be, olive oil, sunflower oil, coconut oil, so you could just refill your bottle. So, hoping I find that soon.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
I just recently went out west to see my sister, and I found for the first time coconut oil bulk, and I had to take a picture to show all my Vermont friends.
Yeah.
I've looked extensively throughout Vermont to find coconut oil in bulk, but I've been unsuccessful. But they do have sunflower oil and canola oil and olive oil in bulk just down this road.
Or down the road.
So like at the Upper Valley Food Co-op, when you're like near the spices on your left, there's all the oils. Yeah.
Coconut oil in bulk exists in the Upper Valley. I don't know where, but my mom buys it in bulk, so it is out there.
Good to know.
Gotta find out, Riley. Let us know.
Or at least she used to. I don't know if she still does, so it may have dried up, but it has been there, and maybe it still is. I'll follow up on that.
Nice. Cool. Thank you very much.